Hi, everybody. I'm Paul Karnick with Xclaimed Ministries. Have you ever read Lamentations? Does anybody read Lamentations? I've never read it up until recently. It's just one of those things that you kind of put that one off on, and some of the other Old Testament books, you kind of just put it off. But man, when I read it, oh my. As Christians, sometimes you're living a life that you just feel like you're doing everything that you possibly can, but it's like God's not listening. He's not working in your life at least the way that you want him to. And you get to that point of, what have I done wrong? What have I done that God is not listening to me, not communicating with me? And you get in that place of, wow, I've really messed up. But man, when I read Lamentations, it showed me that Jeremiah, a prophet of God, one of the big guys, right? Jeremiah. And here he's writing this Lamentations, and especially Lamentations 3. That's where I'm going with this. In Lamentations 3, he felt like God, listen to this. Here it is. It says, I am the man who has seen affliction because of the rod of his wrath. He has driven me and made me walk in darkness and not in light. Surely against me he has turned his hand repeatedly all the day. It's like, what is Jeremiah feeling, right? We've been there. As a Christian, you don't just, every day is not a great day. You just have those days. No matter where you're at in your relationship with God, at some point, you just feel like God's not listening. And then you start feeling like he's turned against you. It says this in verse 8, Lamentations 3:8. It says, even when I cry out and call for help, he shuts out my prayer. Have you ever felt like that? Man, I have. I just get to those points where I'm like, God, you're not even listening to me. And this says, in verse 12, this one's the one I think that really just gave me the visual. Talking about God, he has bent his bow and set me as the target of the arrow. Isn't that crazy? Jeremiah is feeling so much like God is so much against him right now that God has a bow and arrow and pointing it at him. He's the target. Man, well, let me tell you something. I bring this up because the Bible is so open and so true. They don't hide this stuff. This is the true feelings of a prophet of God. Someone that has spoken with God. Someone who has been going through what God has been working with him in his life. He knows God, but yet he still felt like this. So it's not uncommon if we go through the same process, the same feelings. But his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore I have hope in him. Jeremiah, even though he got to this point of loneliness, depression, feeling like God's against him, but it didn't take long. And that's the same thing with us. Go ahead and lament. Let God know that, you know what, it doesn't feel like you're there. But at some point, come back home and realize that the Bible is absolutely true when it says he will never leave you. He will never forsake you. Jesus loves you so much. And even though you go through these times, remember, God hasn't gone anywhere. He hears your prayers. He loves you. And he's going to go through this with you. Whatever you're going through, whatever struggles and tribulations you're going through now, God's not punishing you if you're righteous and you're in the right relationship with God. You're just moving higher. You're moving up to a mature faith where you can trust him. And just like Jeremiah, they say Jeremiah probably wrote this while he was sitting in the place of the skull, where Jesus was crucified. In the place of the skull, where those caves were out and they looked like a skull. A skull was there. It says that he was most likely sitting in one of those places when he wrote this. The Lord is good to those who wait for him. you and I, we must wait on the Lord. He is good. He's going to do some good things. He's going to show us what he's been doing, and it's going to be much better than what we could ever imagine.